Imagine if one country could print money and the entire world had no choice but to use it. That country could fund wars, survive financial crises, borrow trillions, and still remain powerful. That country is the United States. Right now, oil, global trade, government reserves, and even financial crises all revolve around one currency, the US dollar. But how did one nation's money become the world's money? And what would happen if that power ever disappeared? Today, we uncover the real story behind the dollar's global dominance. Right now, nearly 60% of global foreign exchange reserves are held in US dollars. That means when countries save money for emergencies, most of them save in dollars, and it's not just trade with America. Countries use dollars to trade with each other. Brazil and Japan, Saudi Arabia and India, even countries that are political rivals. The dollar has become the world's financial language, but this didn't happen by accident. After World War II, much of Europe and Asia was economically destroyed. Factories were gone, currencies were unstable, governments were weak, but the United States was different. Its economy was strong, its industries were booming, and it held most of the world's gold. In 1944, global leaders met in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. They made a historic decision. All major currencies would be linked to the US dollar, and the US dollar would be backed by gold, $35 per ounce. The dollar became the anchor of the global financial system, and for decades the system worked. But then something dramatic happened. In 1971, President Richard Nixon ended the gold link. The dollar was no longer backed by gold. Many experts believed the system would collapse. Without gold, why would anyone trust the dollar? But something unexpected happened. The world kept using it. Why? Because by then the dollar wasn't just backed by gold, it was backed by the power of the US economy. And soon something even bigger strengthened it: oil. In the 1970s, the United States reached agreements with major oil producing nations. Oil would be priced and sold globally in US dollars. That meant every country that needed energy, which is basically every country, needed dollars. If Japan wanted oil from Saudi Arabia, it first needed US dollars. Energy demand created dollar demand, and oil became the fuel behind dollar dominance. But demand alone isn't enough. A global currency needs trust, and the US offers three powerful advantages. First, a massive economy. Second, relatively stable institutions. Third, and most important, deep financial markets. If a country like China, Japan, or Saudi Arabia holds hundreds of billions of dollars, they need somewhere safe to park that money. Only the US Treasury market is large and liquid enough to handle that scale. You can move billions in and out of US markets quickly. Few countries can offer that. And in times of crisis, something fascinating happens. In 2008, the US housing market collapsed. Banks failed, markets crashed. The crisis started in America. Yet investors around the world rushed into US dollars, not away from it. During global uncertainty, the dollar becomes a safe haven. That level of trust takes decades to build. Because the world constantly demands dollars, the United States enjoys something economists call an exorbitant privilege. America can borrow more easily than almost any country. It can run larger deficits, respond to crises faster, and finance its government at lower costs. When your currency is the world's reserve currency, You play by different rules, but no dominance lasts forever. Today, the world is slowly changing. China promotes the yuan. Some countries trade in local currencies. Digital currencies are emerging. New alliances are forming. But replacing the dollar is extremely difficult. A global currency isn't just about size, it's about trust, stability, liquidity, and decades of confidence. Building that takes generations. Still, history shows that financial power shifts over time. The British pound once ruled the world and then it didn't. So the real question is, will the dollar still dominate in 20 years? Or are we watching the beginning of a new financial era? Tell me what you think in the comments. The US dollar doesn't rule the world by accident. It's the result of war, strategy, oil, institutions, and global confidence. And when you understand money, you begin to understand how the world truly works. If you enjoy exploring how the world works, subscribe to Explorer Alina, where we break down global ideas in simple ways. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.